So this is shloka number 45 of second chapter. The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjun, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities, from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So यहाँ पे क्या बता रहे कृष्णा कि जो वेद है वो तीन गुण होते हैं, प्रकृति के तीन गुण होते हैं, सत्वगुण, रजोगुण और तमोगुण. सो उसको इंग्लिश में कहते हैं मोड ऑफ गुडनेस, मोड ऑफ पैशन, मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस. कोई बताना चाहेगा व्हाट आर दिस मोड्स? कुछ एग्जांपल देना चाहेगा कि ये मोड्स हम पहचानेंगे कैसे? हाउ कैन वी से दैट दिस एक्टिविटी इज इन द मोड ऑफ गुडनेस, और दिस एक्टिविटी इज इन द मोड ऑफ पैशन, और दिस एक्टिविटी इज इन द मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस? हाउ डू यू अंडरस्टैंड? My person's behavior, but I am talking about the activity standalone. Say for example, if someone is chanting, then how do we know that whether he is in the mode of goodness, passion or ignorance?
He is in the mode of sattva guna.
Yeah, sattva guna. So what is that? That's what my question is.
Activities like chanting, worshipping God, and all good activities.
Okay.
Activities that are akarma.
Yeah, akarma is transcendental. It's above the three modes. So you have gone to the next chapter altogether. What good answer? So, of course, the answer is given in the subsequent chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. मतलब Bhagavad Gita में आप आगे पढ़ोगे तो three modes of material nature का एक chapter आता है. So in that it's explained in detail. But we need to understand what these three modes are. Then only हम second chapter में जो है, third chapter में वो अच्छे से समझ पाएंगे. So there are certain symptoms. So when we say activities in the mode of goodness or sattva gun, it is that activity which seems like poison in the beginning, but later on it becomes like nectar. Okay? So that is how we identify sattva gun qualities or sattva guni activities. It seems like poison in the beginning, but later on it becomes like nectar. Similarly, how do we identify rajagun or mode of passion? Mode of passion is exact opposite of this. It seems like nectar in the beginning, but becomes poison in the end. So the exact opposite of mode of goodness is mode of passion. Initially अमृत जैसा लगेगा, लेकिन बाद में विष जैसा बनता है. And the third mode is mode of ignorance or tamogun. So tamogun is something which seems like poison in the beginning, and at the end also it is poison. So it's very easy to remember. So let's revise it once again. Mode of goodness is any activity which seems like poison in the beginning, but at the end it becomes like nectar. Mode of passion, exact opposite. Any activity which seems like poison in the beginning, at the end, like any activity seems like nectar in the beginning, but becomes poison at the end. And ignorance is poison at the beginning, poison at the end. So now let's try to understand these three modes with the help of some example. Okay. So activities in the mode of goodness. Okay. Say for example, waking up early morning at 5 a.m. Is it easy? So initially when somebody tries to wake up early in the morning at 5 a.m., what happens? Our mind will say, अरे क्यों उठ रहा है, सो जा थोड़ा, और थोड़ा आधे घंटे बाद स्नूज कर देते हम लोग बटन, और थोड़ा. So it seems like poison, right? जहर जैसा लगता है माइंड को, बॉडी को सुबह उठना. But someone who has inculcated this habit of rising early every day, for that person it becomes like nectar. Why? Because that person goes ahead from everyone else. So that person is taking advantage of that 5 a.m., right? He's taking advantage of that Brahma Muhurt. So automatically that person will start getting a lot of benefits in his or her life. and at the end you will feel like nectar. You will in fact enjoy waking up early. So that is an example of mode of goodness. Now coming to mode of passion, Rajogun. So let me repeat, Rajogun is that which seems like nectar in the beginning but becomes poison at the end. तो इनिशियली जब हम करते हैं तो अमृत जैसा लगता है, लेकिन बाद में विष जैसा बन जाता है. तो एक बहुत ही अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है, जब एक जवान लड़का और एक जवान लड़की जब मिलते हैं तो इनिशियली दे फाइंड दैट रिलेशनशिप टू बी वेरी लाइक अ नेक्टर. लाइक लड़का लड़की के बिना रह नहीं सकता, लड़की लड़के के बिना रह नहीं सकते. डे एंड नाइट दे आर टॉकिंग ऑन व्हाट्सएप, एक मिनट भी वो अलग नहीं रह पाते. एंड दे फील एज इफ दिस इज देयर लाइफ, इट इज नेक्टर फॉर देम. बट व्हाट हैपेंस इन मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस इज आफ्टर सम टाइम द सेम सो कॉल्ड नेक्टर बिकम्स लाइक पॉइजन. And then there is breakup, very violent breakup, or else if they end up getting married, they might have overlooked a lot of things, right, in their illusion. So they might not be actually compatible with each other. And after marriage, there is a lot of quarrels, there is divorce, so it becomes like poison. So this is an example of Rajogun, which is nectar in the beginning but poison in the end. Then coming to the third category, which is mode of ignorance, Tamogun. So that is poison in the beginning, poisoning at the end. Example, drinking alcohol. So somebody who has tasted alcohol, initially also it's bitter, it's like poison. But somebody who is addicted to drinking alcohol, for him also the effects are poisonous, because his entire life will become like hell. He will lose all his relationships, he will lose composure of his mind, he might even end up losing his job because of addiction. So it is poison at the beginning, poison at the end. So that is how we come to know whether an activity is in the mode of goodness, in the mode of passion, or in the mode of ignorance. So these three modes, they are explained in the Vedas. So हमारे जो वेद है, they deal with these three modes, which is mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. So in general, the Vedas say that you should be in the mode of goodness, because that is a prerequisite. It's like a qualification. So if we really want to practice Krishna consciousness, which is so precious, we have to first of all come to the mode of goodness. Then only we can rise above that. But here Krishna, what is saying? O Arjuna, become transcendental to these modes. मतलब हमारा जो actual aim है, it is not to become a सत्वगुणी person. Our aim is to become transcendental. ये जो तीन मोड है, इससे भी ऊपर जाना, ये हमारा actual aim है. So Krishna is saying that, O Arjuna, become transcendent to these three modes. Be free from dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety. So be free from dualities. Dualities मतलब क्या? हार और जीत. तो लाइफ में कभी हमें कुछ मिलेगा, अच्छा होगा, कभी शायद नहीं होगा. But a devotee is someone who remains equipoised. Equipoised मतलब वो हार में भी सेम रहेगा, जीत में भी सेम रहेगा. उसे कभी he will never become mentally unstable or mentally disturbed by any kind of result. So that is what Krishna is advising. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self. So what is the self? Self is the soul, right? So we have to consider, we have to know that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, we are soul. So as long as we remember that, we will never have any kind of problems in our life. Now coming to the next slok, 2.46, 46th verse. All purposes served by a small well can at once be served by a great reservoir of water. Similarly, all the purposes of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind them. So what Krishna is saying, that एक छोटा सा कुआं जो काम कर सकता है, एक बड़ा सा लेक, वो काम तो कर ही सकता है, उसके साथ और भी बहुत सारे काम कर सकता है, राइट? सो कृष्णा इज सेइंग दैट वॉट एवर इज रिटन इन द वेदास, सो इफ यू रीड द वेदास, हम अगर वेदों का अध्ययन करें तो वेदों में बहुत सारे यज्ञ करने बोलते हैं। जैसे आपको अगर धन चाहिए तो आप ये यज्ञ कीजिए, आपको अगर सुंदर बनना है आप ये यज्ञ कीजिए, आपको अगर नेक्स्ट जन्म में देवता बनना है आप ये यज्ञ कीजिए। तो कई लोग ऐसे होते हैं जब वो वेदों का अध्ययन करते हैं, when they read the Vedas, they feel that Vedas is about this only, that you do a task A, you get a result B, you do something, you get a result, ऐसे उनको लगता है, but that is not the case. Why? Because Krishna is saying that we have to transcend, मतलब हमें ये 3 गुणों से ऊपर जाना है. And all the purpose of the Vedas can be served to one who knows the purpose behind this. So the Vedas have been written in a certain way and for a certain purpose. So जैसे 3 गुण हैं, वैसे वेदों को भी 3, मतलब हमारे जो पुराण हैं, जो वेद है, उनको भी 3 गुण में विभाजित किया गया है, 3 गुण में डिवाइड किया गया है। तो कुछ पुराण है जैसे श्रीमद् भागवतम, विष्णु पुराण, ऐसे सब पुराण को सत्वगुणी पुराण माना जाता है। Because these Purans, like, they will elevate us. Of course, all the Purans will elevate us, but they are meant for people who are already Sattva Guni. Then there are some Puranas like Garud Puran who are considered to be Rajasic. मतलब जो लोग रजगुण में हैं, उनके लिए वो specifically लिखा गया है. And then there are some Puranas like Devi Bhagavatam, like Shiv Puran, which are in the mode of ignorance. तो वो उन लोगों के लिए लिखा गया है जो इग्नोरेंस में है। ऑफ कोर्स ऑल द पुराणास आर करेक्ट, ऐसा नहीं कि ये पुराण सही नहीं है, ऑल द पुराणास आर करेक्ट, बट दे हैव डिफरेंट टारगेट ऑडियंस एंड दे हैव बीन रिटन इन सच अ वे सो एज टू अपलिफ्ट समवन हु इज एट सम लेवल। सो से फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई जंगल में आदिवासी है, आदिवासी बाय डिफॉल्ट दे आर इन मोड ऑफ इग्नोरेंस, तो दे हैव नो रिस्ट्रिक्शन, लाइक दे विल ईट एनीथिंग व्हाटएवर दे गेट, हर टाइप का मांस खाते हैं। तो वैसे अगर कोई पर्सन को कोई जाके अगर कहे कि यू फॉलो 4 रेगुलेटिव प्रिंसिपल्स, यू गिव अप मीट ईटिंग, यू गिव अप अल्कोहल, यू गिव अप दिस दैट, तो वो सुनेगा नहीं, ही विल इमीडिएटली रन अवे। सो फॉर पर्सन्स लाइक देम, सर्टेन पुराना, सर्टेन वेदास हैव गिवन देम सम प्रिविलेज ऑफ मीट ईटिंग, लाइक इफ यू sacrifice a goat once a month before goddess Bhadrakali, then you can partake some amount of meat and remaining amount of meat you can donate. Such kind of regulations are given, but that is there for people who cannot follow, not for everyone. The ultimate purpose of the Vedas is to help us transcend these modes, so you have to know that. So that is what is written over here in this shloka.
How many Puranas are there only for Tamasic?
There are 18 Puranas. Exact number I don't remember. There are, I think, around 5 to 6 Puranas with a Tamasic. Yeah.
Do you remember any other apart from Garud Puran?
Garud Puran is Rajasic. Shiv Puran, Devi Bhagavatam is there, and then there are others also. I don't have it at back of my mind. I'll check and let you know. Then 47th verse, you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities and never be attached to not doing your duty. So this shloka is again very important shloka. At the same time, it's like a very popular misquoted shloka, that फल की चिंता मत करो, खाली काम करते जाओ, right? So this is true in certain situation, provided you are, the activity which you are doing is sanctioned by the scripture. मतलब शास्त्र जो हमें कहते हैं, अगर वो कर रहे हैं तो ये ट्रू है, पर अगर कोई कुछ ऐसे कार्य कर रहा है जो विकर्म है या फिर पाप है, तो तभी ये वैलिड नहीं है. So you have a right to perform a prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of the action. So let's concentrate on this sloka only right now. So you have to understand it. Arjun was saying that I will not fight. So in the opposing army there are my cousins, my grandfather, my teachers, so many respectable elders. So I will not fight, I will not kill them, because if I kill them, I will get a lot of sins. So then Krishna is answering this, that you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. So because Arjuna is a Kshatriya, the duty of a Kshatriya is to fight for a proper dharmic cause. When I say dharmic cause, something which is sanctioned by the scripture. Since Arjuna was a Kshatriya, it was his duty to fight for a proper cause. And no matter who was there in the opposition, he has to perform his duty. He is not entitled to think about the fruits. What will happen? That is not supposed to think. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. So this is also very important. So a lot of times people say that why do bad things happen to good people? A very prominent question. Why do bad things happen to good people? मैं तो अच्छा आदमी हूँ, मैंने किसी का कुछ गलत नहीं किया, तो मेरे साथ ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? So never consider yourself the cause of results of your activities. The reason behind this is karma is very complex. You never know. If I do something good right now, when I will get result, I don't know. I may get result in 1 minute, after 5 minutes, after a day, after a month, after years, after some lifetimes, anytime I can get. Say at the same time, if I do some sinful activity right now, when I will get the result, I will never know. But there is one thing for sure, that you will get the result. When you will get, nobody can say, but you will get for sure. So that's the reason we need to concentrate on activities which is under our control. मतलब हमारे हाथ में जो है वही हमें करना चाहिए. हमारे हाथ में ये नहीं है कि कल क्या होगा मेरे साथ, लेकिन हमारे हाथ में ये है कि आज मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, अभी मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, ये हमारे हाथ में है. And if I do something which is sanctioned by the scripture, which is proper right now, definitely I will get the result at a later stage, right? So we will talk about this in detail in the 3rd chapter, which is on Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a very interesting chapter. It has lot of different, you can say, like scenario analysis. ऐसा होगा तो क्या हो सकता है, ऐसा होगा तो क्या हो सकता है. It's a very interesting chapter, 3rd chapter. We'll talk about it in detail later. Perform your duty equipoised, O Arjun, abandoning all attachment to success or failure. Such equanimity is called yoga. So perform your duty equipoised. Equipoised मतलब without thinking about जीतूंगा या हारूंगा, what will be the result. If it's a duty, you have to perform it. So similarly, the takeaway from this shlok is that we have to perform our duties. And then what are our duties? That is also very important to know. So our duties are given as per our respected Guru Maharaj or spiritual master. So it's not something that किसी ने मुझे आके कह दिया कि तुम्हारा ड्यूटी ये है कि 10 साल बाद तुम एक घर खरीदोगे मुंबई में, जू में. So that is my duty. So बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे भी सोचते हैं कि मटेरियल ऑपुलेंट होना मेरा ड्यूटी है, जू में बंगला खरीदना मेरा ड्यूटी है. It's not like that. Anything which has been told by a spiritual master or by a proper spiritual authority, that is your duty. And we are supposed to do our duty equipoised without thinking whether ये करने से कुछ अच्छा होगा या खराब होगा. Because a spiritual master, whatever he says, that those are not his words, those are the words of Krishna himself. So here we see that Arjun, he is fortunate. He has lot of I would say good fortune, because he is able to associate with Krishna directly. वो डायरेक्टली कृष्णा से बात कर पा रहे हैं. अनफॉर्चुनेटली नन ऑफ अस इज दैट फॉर्चुनेट, राइट? सो हमें कैसा पता चलेगा कि व्हाट कृष्णा वांट्स? सो फॉर दैट वी हैव टू टेक इंस्ट्रक्शन, वी हैव टेक शेल्टर ऑफ अ प्रॉपर स्पिरिचुअल मास्टर who is a representative of Krishna. So whatever the spiritual master says, that has to be accepted as the words of Krishna, and we have to follow that. O Dhananjay, Keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. So what Krishna is saying, oh Dhananjay. So Dhananjay is another very popular name of Arjun. What does it mean?
धनंजय means बाणावली, मतलब जो क्षत्रिय है वो उनको बोल सकते हैं धनंजय, जो धनुर्विद्या में माहिर है.
Yeah, okay. मतलब it's very close but not the exact meaning. So Dhananjay means one who is always victorious in battle. जब भी वो battle करने जाते he always wins. So that's why he's known as Dhananjay. So oh Dhananjay. So why is Krishna addressing him as Dhananjay right now? Because he wants to remind him. So whatever names he is addressing Arjun, he wants to remind him that you are someone who is known to be always victorious in battle. Then why are you thinking of running away from battle right now? So these names also have significance. So Krishna has used different names of Arjuna at different points. Similarly, Arjuna has also addressed Krishna as different names at different points in the Bhagavad Gita. And these address of names is not random. So you will find that when Arjuna is asking a question, he will refer to Krishna as O Madhusudan. Why? Because Madhusudan means killer of the demon Madhu. So Madhu was a very great demon whom Krishna had killed. And why Arjuna was addressing Krishna as Madhusudan? Because he was saying that whatever doubts is coming into my mind, it's like a demon. Please kill that demon also. So these names are also important. So keep all abominable activities far distant by devotional service, and in that consciousness surrender unto the Lord. Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers. You see this? Those who want to enjoy the fruits of their work are misers.
Misers means
कंजूस. तो जो फल की अपेक्षा रखते हैं और कार्य करते हैं उन्हें कृष्णा खुद कंजूस कहते हैं. So you understand. So we should always perform our prescribed duties without any attachment to the fruits.
Can you please elaborate that why misers is related to that?
Why misers? Okay. So if you read the purport, so again, if you read the purport, it is a very deep meaning. I'll just explain in short. So what Prabhupada ji says is that those who are devotees, those who perform devotional service, they are very generous, they are magnanimous, because they are elevating themselves, but at the same time they are giving away this gift of Krishna consciousness to others also. On the other hand, someone who wants to enjoy the fruits of their work, of course they are not Krishna conscious, they are normal materialistic people. So these materialistic people may seem to be charitable, as in they will make a show of charity in certain functions, they will show that I am doing charity, this and that. But if they are not taking up Krishna consciousness, then everything whatever they are doing is void, and they are actually misers, because they want to enjoy the fruits of their work. So a lot of people outside, those who give donation, why do they give? Because donation दूंगा तो मेरा नाम बढ़ेगा. People will say that this person is not just a successful businessman, he has a great heart also. So let me buy his products. So they all keep these things into their consideration. ऐसा नहीं कि वो बिना कोई मतलब का donation दे रहे. So they जैसे donation करते हैं immediately next day पेपर में आर्टिकल आएगा या कहीं ना कहीं कुछ कवरेज आएगा कि I have donated this much for this cause, because they want to build that goodwill.
Like Baba Ramdev started with yoga.
I'll not take any names, so, and it would not be proper to take any names also. A man engaged in devotional service rids himself of both good and bad reactions, even in this life. So what's Krishna is saying, that a man who is engaged in devotional service, in Krishna consciousness, rids himself of both good and bad reaction even in his life. So later on, if you read the Karma Yoga chapter, you will understand that karma is very complex. So we might be suffering karma or results of certain activities which we have done 100 births ago. So maybe 100 births ago we were a butcher or something, right? And we had done a lot of sins. We are suffering even today. We don't know. But a person who is engaged in devotional service or Krishna consciousness, all his good and bad reactions will get nullified in this life itself. So Prabhupada says that Krishna consciousness, it's just like a fire, right? So whatever activities we are doing, it will give us some fruits, right? The fruits are compared to some plants. The plants will bear some fruits, right? So if we are doing a good activity, we are planting a good plant which will give us a good fruit. If we are doing a bad activity, then we are planting a bad plant which will give us a bad fruit, right? So externally, we might be able to cut those plants, but if their roots remain, then again we will perform that activity again, right? So we will, if we have some bad habit, if the roots remain, then again we will perform that. But Krishna consciousness is so powerful that it will burn even the roots of sinful activities or of performing any kind of material activity. So a person who is engaged in devotional service, जो भक्ति कर रहे हैं, they will end all the good and bad reaction in this life. Therefore strive for yoga, which is the art of all work. So now Krishna is talking about yoga. Generally when we talk about yoga, the thing which comes into our mind is all physical exercises. So that is a type of yoga. It's called Hatha Yoga. But here yoga, when Krishna is talking about yoga, this is actually Bhakti Yoga or devotional service to Krishna without any motivation. Then 2.51. By thus engaging in devotional service to the Lord, great sages or devotees free themselves from the results of work in the material world. In this way, they become free from the cycle of birth and death and attain the state beyond all miseries by going back to Godhead. So any example, any great devotee or any great sage you can say? There are a lot of examples, but any prominent you can think of who have got free from all their karma in this life itself and become free from the cycle of birth and death? Yeah, Sant Tukaram, very good example. Sorry? Narsim Mehta. Okay.
मीराबाई
Madhvacharya. Okay.
मीराबाई और घोष.
Yeah. So one very good example in the Shastra is given of
वाल्मीकि ऋषि.
Yeah, Valmiki Muni also. Very good example. So one very good example in this case is that of Narad Muni. So I'll just give you a brief about Narad Muni's life. Narad Muni के life के बारे में बताता हूँ. Narad Muni was a Gandharva named Upabarn. And he was very handsome, very beautiful. He would sing very beautifully. Because he was very handsome, he was a very good singer. A lot of damsels in the heavenly planets got attracted to him. And as a result, he became a playboy. Someone who doesn't have a good character, roams around with different women at different time. And he was living a life like that. So Gandharva is someone who resides in the heavenly planet and they are musicians. And because he was a very handsome musician, he used to roam around with a lot of women. Now one day what was happening is that in heavenly planets, Sankirtan was happening. Sankirtan is the congregation chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So these pure names of the Lord were being chanted in the heavenly planets. And Narad Muni arrived in that situation. And he was so shameless that he arrived there with all his girlfriends. And in the presence of all these devotees, he started singing materialistic songs. Materialistic songs like the way the songs are there in Bollywood, like a girl and a boy going and having an affair with each other. Such kind of songs he started singing in front of those Sankirtan performing devotees. So immediately all the devotees, all the demigods became very angry at him. And he said that though you are a resident of the heavenly planets, your activities are like a Shudra or a fallen person. So we immediately curse you to take birth as a Shudra because that's what you deserve. And Narad Muni was cursed and he was born as a Shudra. Dasi, yeah. So he was born as a son of a maid servant. Maid servant is a Dasi. So one day, what happened is that his mother saw that 4 devotees, 4 Bhagavata, they had come. And in India, it is a custom even now, but it used to be followed earlier, that saints or devotees, they would always roam around the entire earth preaching about Krishna consciousness. But the moment rainy season used to happen, they would stay at one place for 4 months. And they used to follow something known as Chaturmasya. So these 4 devotees, they came and stayed with Narad Muni during this period of Chaturmasya. And at this time, Narad Muni got to serve with them personally. So he used to serve them, he used to offer them prasadam. Then after the devotees took prasadam, Narad Muni used to take the remnants of their prasadam, of those devotees. Does anyone know the meaning of prasadam? Why we call prasadam as prasadam?
It's free from all sinful activities.
Yeah, it is.
All in the process of making those
Yeah.
food.
Because it has a mercy of the Lord.
Yeah, it has the mercy of the Lord.
उसमें भगवान के साक्षात दर्शन होते हैं.
So what happens, I'll just explain the process in short. The thing is that we offer prasadam to the deity. And the Lord actually takes the prasadam. He honors it, he eats it. But the Lord's body is transcendental. It's not like our body. How do we eat? We eat through our mouth. How does Krishna eat? Yeah, through his eyes. So Krishna's senses are transcendental. It's not like a material body what we have. So many times people say that, like some people from other religion, they will say that what kind of God you are worshipping? He is a human. Right? They will say like that. But we have to understand that the form of Krishna is not material form like us. Krishna can eat with his eyes. He can walk with his ears. He can do any activity with any of his senses. So though it appears that his form is human-like, his form is transcendental. It is very different from our form. So when prasadam is offered to Krishna, Krishna actually eats that prasadam through his eyes. And what we get are the remnants of the prasadam. Like Krishna has eaten little and remaining part we are getting. So this prasad is known as Mahaprasad, which is offered directly to deities. If we take this Mahaprasad, automatically all our sins get nullified and our intelligence becomes purified. Understanding the Vedas, understanding the Shastra is not easy. It's not for people like us who are born in Kali Yuga. But the mercy of devotees, the mercy of Vaishnava is such that after taking prasadam, our intelligence becomes purified, it becomes stronger, and then we become qualified to read and understand the Bhagavad Gita and the Vedas. So this is about Krishna. But another thing is that somebody who is a pure devotee, somebody who has not even a tinge of material desire, if we offer prasad to them, if they take little and give the remnants to us, that prasadam is known as Maha Prasadam. It's not just Mahaprasad, it's Maha Prasadam. So anyone who is taking the remnants of the prasadam of a pure devotee, that is even more potent than taking Mahaprasad. And Narad Muni was so fortunate that he could take the Mahaprasad of these four exalted devotees. And as he was taking prasad, as he was serving them, he became purified. In fact, after the four devotees left, Narad Muni's mother was bitten by a snake. Now try to imagine, Narad Muni is a small child, a 5-year-old child. His mother has been bitten by a snake and she died. What will happen to that child? But the mercy of the devotees was so much mercy was given by the devotees that Narad Muni actually took this as a blessing. He understood that in this world, whatever attachments we are having, those are temporary. So my mother being here is also an attachment. So it is the mercy of Krishna that he took away my mother. And now, because I have this knowledge of Krishna consciousness, let me go and practice devotional service. So immediately he went to the forest at a secluded place and started meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And after meditating for a few days, the Supreme Personality, Bhagwan Swayam, प्रकट हुए. कहाँ प्रकट हुए? उनके हृदय में. So he could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhagwan Swayam, with his चतुर्भुज रूप, 4 हाथों के साथ उस रूप में उनके हृदय में थे. And he could see them. And after 2 seconds, he vanished. And then he was searching, कहाँ गए भगवान? Where did he go? Then Krishna said from within his heart, because Lord is always there in the heart. He said that actually you are not eligible to see me, but because of the mercy of the devotees and because you are in the right path, I have shown myself to you. This is just to motivate you so that you do bhakti more and more. So in this life you are not going to see me definitely, but if you continue with this devotional service, in your next life you will be liberated for sure. So he started doing bhakti very properly. And as soon as he left his body, the next body he got was that of Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is a liberated person. He is not bound by birth and death. वो जन्म या मृत्यु के साइकिल में नहीं है. He is completely liberated. उनको जहाँ चाहिए वो जा सकते हैं. So today, if he wants, he can come here. Tomorrow, if he wants, he can go to Brahma Lok. Next day, if he wants, he can go to Vaikuntha Lok. Everywhere he has access. So Narad Muni is a very good example of how much fallen he was at one point, and he was cursed by devotees. And in fact, from here we understand that even the curse of a devotee is a blessing. Right? So devotees are so merciful that even the chastisement, even the curse is a blessing. Because if he would not have been cursed, he would have gone with the hellish planets. So there are a lot of examples. Any other example you can think of where the curse of a devotee turned out to be a blessing? Curse of a devotee, मतलब devotee ने श्राप दिया किसी को, but that so-called श्राप एक वरदान जैसा है.
He said, Ravana and Kamsa by Ramchandra and all Krishna, since he killed them, they all were liberated to.
Yeah, that is true, but सच्ची में श्राप दिया है, मतलब ये तो मार दिया तो that's a different.
Even गांधारी ने भी कृष्ण भगवान को श्राप दिया था.
हाँ वो तो अलग है. गांधारी cursing Krishna is different pastime altogether. Yes.
Mother of Bhakt
Sorry.
Mother of Bhakt
हाँ परीक्षित वाला. Sorry online कोई कुछ कह रहा था.
मदर ऑफ भक्त प्रहलाद.
मदर ऑफ भक्त प्रहलाद को कोई कर्स नहीं दिया था, लेकिन ठीक है चलेगा वो भी. हाँ
जय विजय को कर्स था.
हाँ जय विजय को कर्स था, पर वो थोड़ा अलग है. परीक्षित महाराज इज अ वेरी गुड एग्जांपल. या सॉरी
हनुमान जी की माता को
हाँ हनुमान जी की माता को अंजनी. हाँ दैट्स आल्सो गुड एग्जांपल. सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ एग्जांपल्स जहाँ पे श्राप. हाँ हाँ तो जहाँ पे श्राप दिया गया था, and that श्राप actually turned out to be a blessing.
Why the Anjali should
That's a long thing. I'll explain to you later. So when your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that has been heard and all that is to be heard. So let's read this again. When your intelligence has passed out of the dense forest of delusion, you shall become indifferent to all that is heard and all that is to be heard. So what happens is that generally any person is sensitive to what is being heard. मतलब आजू बाजू के लोग क्या कह रहे हैं, इससे हमें इन्फ्लुएंस होता है, राइट? हम कैसे टाइप के लोग के साथ रह रहे हैं, what we are hearing, what and everything, it influences us. But someone who is very much advanced, he reaches a stage where he is indifferent to whatever has been heard, right? When your mind is no longer disturbed by the flowery language of the Vedas, and when it remains fixed in the trance of self-realization, then you will have attained the divine consciousness. So when our mind is no longer disturbed by Vedas, so Vedas talk about, as we talked about before only, Vedas talk about a lot of different activities. So if somebody goes into that mess and tries to perform everything, they will become bewildered. Oh, Arjun said, "Oh Krishna." So this is very important, and in fact, this is the last shloka what we'll discuss. Okay. Arjun said, "Oh Krishna, what are the symptoms of one whose consciousness is thus merged in transcendence? How does he speak? What is his language? How does he sit and how does he walk?" So यहाँ पे अर्जुन क्या पूछ रहे हैं? बहुत ही वैलिड क्वेश्चन है कि how do we understand? अभी कृष्णा बोल रहे हैं कि you should do this. Devotees are like this. Someone who is a pure devotee is like this. But then Arjun is asking, and he's asking for us only, that how do we identify someone who is at that level of consciousness? So how do you identify a devotee or a pure devotee? Can anyone say? Question is that how do we identify a pure devotee? What are the symptoms they display?
You always talk about Krishna.
Okay, that's a good one. Sorry?
क्या पूछे प्रभु जी?
पूछा आपको कि एक भक्त का क्या लक्षण होता है?
24 hours he thinks about the Lord.
Sorry?
He is completely the conscious of Krishna. 24 hours, like whenever he is there, he just thinks about it. And whatever he does, Krishna is the center of that.
Okay. Yeah.
Vinamra.
Yeah, he is Vinamra. Any other example? Any other?
इक्वल, सबको एक नजर से देखे.
हाँ, equipoised. Yeah, very good answer. So there are a lot of symptoms. So इस chapter में कुछ symptoms हैं. So we'll cover it next time. And if we read divine and demonic qualities, that chapter, three modes of material nature. So over there, more symptoms are given of a pure devotee. How do we identify? So one is definitely he thinks of Krishna all the time. Whatever activities he is performing, that will be dovetailed with Krishna. Like he will not perform any activity unke man se. So you will never find a pure devotee doing something randomly. मतलब खुद के मन से कुछ भी जो भी है वो कर रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है.
कुछ भी कर्म करते हैं, you have to be keep as a center of appreciation.
Yes, yes. So devotees will always perform activities by keeping Krishna at the center. So that is the beauty of the devotees. So we will talk about the symptoms in the next one, because अभी start करूँगा तो it will take another 40 minutes. Okay. So okay, devotees tested will becomes a blessing. So एक example हमने नारद मुनि का देखा. नारद मुनि को डिवोटीज ने श्राप दिया था. उनको श्राप दिया, इसके लिए जाके he became नारद मुनि. Otherwise, what would have happened if they would have not cursed him? He would have continued his sinful activities. He was a playboy. he was like breaking regulatory principles, so he would have gone to hell and he would have suffered there. And then when he would have got purified, nobody would have known. So that is one example. Another very important example is Daksh, the father-in-law of Lord Shiva. So Daksh was performing a lot of Vaishnava aparadh. He was blaspheming Lord Shiva. He was saying that Lord Shiva, he doesn't know how to dress, he never takes bath, he roams around with ghosts and snakes. So he was performing a lot of offenses against Lord Shiva, and he didn't even invite Lord Shiva for the Daksha Yajna, right? So Lord Shiva could have ignored him, because Lord Shiva is anyway transcendental. He doesn't care what happens, and he doesn't even want any kind of respect from anyone. If somebody respects him, he is happy, but otherwise he doesn't want. So he could have ignored him, but he chose to behead him and then replaced his head with a goat's head. So though externally it may seem that it was a very harsh punishment, that killing someone and then replacing his head with a goat's head, but it was a blessing, a very important blessing for Daksha, because the results of Vaishnava aparadh is like really bad. Somebody who is blaspheming Vaishnava, they will definitely go to hell and they will not be able to come out from the hellish planets. But Lord Shiva is so merciful that he killed Daksha and then replaced him with a goat's head, so that he comes back to his senses. He comes to know that he is in the wrong path. So that was another example. Then there were two sons of Kuber, who were also indulging in sense gratification, and they were cursed in heavenly planets to take birth as trees, and they took birth as two trees. And then Krishna in his childhood form performed at Damodar, like he took that mortar and destroyed the trees and liberated them. So they also got benefited. So devotees, whatever they do, it might seem like a curse or it might seem harsh, it's ultimately for the good of the person. Okay. Any other question?
The leaders of Ahalya, by the touching of Ramchandra's feet, will not be common in this category?
Sorry?
Ahalya, the liberation of Ahalya.
Yeah, you can say so, because she was cursed by Gautam Rishi to become like a stone. And when Lord Ramchandra comes, then only she will become delivered. So in a way you can say that. So though it was not completely Ahalya's fault, but somehow the situation was such that she was cursed. But it was a mercy, you can say, because of that she got direct darshan of Lord Ramchandra. It's not easy to get direct association of Lord Ramchandra. So that's also a very good example. Any other question? Okay. So now coming to the last thing. Yes. बताइए.
प्रजापति दक्ष का तो इससे मतलब इससे काटी गई थी कि में अहम का भाव ज्यादा आ गया था.
हाँ, वही हमने डिस्कस किया कि उनको अहंकार काफी आ गया था. वो शिव जी का मतलब निंदा कर रहे थे. तो इसके लिए उनके पापों के बोझ से उनको मुक्त करने के लिए उन्हें शिव जी ने वध किया था उनका. अच्छा, ये दिस इज द लास्ट अनाउंसमेंट. सो वी आर गोइंग टू नासिक, it is Trambakeshwar on 20, so next week basically. So the registrations and everything is almost done. So if anyone wants to register for this yatra, which is next week 25th to 26th, you can let me know right now, because we are going to close the registration today itself. And we are going to visit places like Panchavati, Someshwar temple, Trambakeshwar temple, Brahmagiri. We'll have a trek in Brahmagiri. So if anyone wants to come for this yatra even now, you can contact me right now, immediately, so we can talk about that. Okay? Ashul Dulab.
So we'd like to
express our gratitude to Barun Prabhu for presenting such a beautiful session by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the prasad is in the Vrindavan Hall, which is first floor. Those who have any doubts or question, they can stay here and ask directly to the Prabhuji. And those who want to proceed for the prasad can go to the first floor. किसी को वृंदावन हॉल पता नहीं तो someone can guide or you can ask me. Okay. Hare Krishna.